Night does not fall here. It stalks. The savanna's breath is hot and metallic cicadas sawing the edges of silence. Imagine a lineage that never rose onto 2 feet, no upright silhouettes against the twilight, no hands freed for distance and dreams. If knuckles still bore the weight of thought, how would a people hunt, carry heel, and outrun the jaws that rule the dark? What would cunning look like without standing tall? And when the sky splits with storm and rival eyes glint from the brush which truth keeps them alive? Speed stone or the memory of water, they move low, a dozen. Late Miocene hominins, knuckle-walkers, akin to Nacalopithecus, long-armed and barrel-chested, sweeping the grass in a crescent before dawn's first pallor. Bodies ripple with mud and seed husks. Backs are maps of old scars. The matriarch navigates by scent and wind, knuckles punching soft craters into dust. 2 juveniles cling belly down to their mothers, their toes flexing, their eyes wide coins. A male with a jagged ear drags a palm frond bundled with damp leaves, water captured in folded green, the only reservoir that travels with the troop. No figure stands to scout, heads pitch and roll just above the grass line. Nostrils flare, ears twitch, information traded in glances and posture. Survival is a braid of 4 limbs and a spine close to the earth. They find the fig tree riven by lightning. Its crown beads with heavy fruit. Its roots drink from a ribbon of dark soil that remembers yesterday's storm. The first climbers rise like shadows rethreading a loom, hooking toes into crevices, hugging bark with forearms. No upright posture, just coiled power. The matriarch stays low with the infants and the wounded male, his shin welted and swollen. She sets a smooth river stone beside a pad of broad leaves, places unripe figs in the center, and hammers them one by one, until pale flesh bursts and bitter sap runs. Pulp is squeezed into leaves folded like mouths. Tiny bundles pile up food portioned for those who cannot climb. Knowledge is not spoken. It is rhythm, repetition, the angle of a wrist, the patience to strike until the world gives way. The first knot tightens. A low ripple passes through savanna grass. Parallel ripples organized the language of hunters. Spotted hyenas move in a shallow arc, noses high, laughter held behind teeth. The fig's lower branches quiver as juveniles freeze bellies plastered to bark. On the ground, the matriarch lifts one fist high, a stillness signal. The jagged-eared male pivots on Knuckles' shoulders like hewn wood. 4 subadults fan outward, each armed with a bone-thick limb torn from dead thorn scrub, not spears but clubs dense enough to thud meaning into fur and skull. No one rises tall to intimidate. Menace is kept close to the soil, contained in muscle and timing. The hyenas test the perimeter. One feints left toward the infants. Another noses the pile of fig bundles and sneezes at the sour sap. A third drifts behind, searching for softness. The matriarch presses a leaf against the wounded shin, fresh split of succulent stalk, cool gel shining, and binds it with fibrous bark twisted into cord. The troop does not run. It compresses. Knuckles anchor. Toes flex, clubs lift. When the first hyena lunges, the jagged-eared male meets it half a heartbeat early, a diagonal strike from low to high that cracks across the muzzle. Another club slaps ribs. A juvenile from the tree drops a fist-sized stone toward flashing spots and misses, but the rock's impact on dust rings like a threat. The hyenas circle tighter, offended into caution, and the troop inhales as one organism, a quadrupedal fortress around the very young. Wind shifts. A second knot forms the scent of others of their kind. From the thorn line, another band of knuckle-walkers appears, larger, leaner faces darker with clay. Their leader wears a necklace of vertebrae threaded on sinew, the bones rattling when he moves. Both bands want the fig, the shade, the root-wet ground, a microclimate of safety. Neither lifts a voice. There are no words to start a war. There is the roll of shoulders, the breadth of chests, the distance between knuckles and food. Hyenas, sensing a greater profit in chaos, edge back patient accountants of fear. The standoff trembles in the heat. No creature breathes too loud. In this ancient theater, conflict is not declared, it is measured. The rival leader, sinew-necklaced and broad-backed, steps forward on all fours, his head held at a height just slightly above his companions. His eyes sweep the fig tree, the wounded male the infants clutched, to fur the clubs still warm from deflecting hyena teeth. He growls low, not a threat, but a declaration of claim. One of his subordinates mimics the gesture, baring yellowed teeth. A stone is lifted, not thrown. The matriarch of the first band lowers her eyes, but not her posture. She reaches for a bundle of figs, unties it, and lays it in the middle ground between the two groups. This is the second not a choice between blood and balance. The rival pauses. Wind presses down like a decision. Then, without rising, the rival leader prowls forward, lifts the offered leaf bundle and sniffs. Silence. Then he tosses a single fig back toward the matriarch's feet. The clubs lower. Muscles unclench. The hyenas dissolve into the distance, disappointed. Both groups begin the slow, wordless dance of shared survival. Half a tree claimed the base territory, loosely divided by the curvature of shadow and stone. No treaty. No trust. Just a temporary merging of needs, instinct, over ego. They eat quickly, but alertly. Juveniles from both groups watch each other with predator suspicion and childlike curiosity, mimicking each other's hand motions in the dirt, tracing spirals with bark tips. One shares a slug of water from a folded leaf. The other reciprocates with a fig's stringy interior. Rivalry in its earliest form, tempered by mimicry and hunger. But survival never rests long. As the midday heat crests, a distant tremble begins not in the earth, but in the air. The birds lift too fast. Insects vanish. A pressure drop like breath, held underwater. The matriarch rises, this time partially upright, but still braced on knuckles, and scans the southern ridge. Storm. A wall of dust and cloud moves like an avalanche across the savanna. The old ones recognize it. The young only see color and fury. The tree offers no protection. The caves are half a day's crawl away. There is only one option, the dry riverbed cut into the plains, like a scar half-cloaked in reeds, and sunk below the wind's fury. The matriarch jerks her arm forward, signal for movement. The rival band hesitates, still gorging, still unsure. She does not wait. This is survival by decision. The first band gathers its injured, its water bundles, its youngest. One juvenile climbs the matriarch's back. The wounded male clenches a club in his teeth and limps behind. They move in a broken stream, low and fast, diving through grass as the wind begins to roar. The sky darkens not with night, but with the bruise of storm amber green electric. Lightning splits a tree far off, and the crack echoes across the savanna like a god's rebuke. The second band follows now closer than before. Their leader no longer bears teeth. He shields an infant beneath his chest, as he runs the necklace of vertebrae clattering with every step. Two tribes, once ready to clash, now race side by side, united not by peace, but by peril. The dry riverbed looms ahead. A vulture spirals down and aborts mid-flight. Thunder breaks open the sky. And then the storm hits. Wind slams into the earth like a tidal wave of grit. The dry riverbed becomes a sanctuary of motion bodies diving, slipping, tumbling into its embrace. Dust howls overhead. The matriarch shields the youngest with her back, fur rippling with each gust. Clubs are no longer weapons, but anchors. Leaves meant for water now cover eyes and mouths. The air turns solid, electric, violent. Two bands huddle in mud and stone. A male from the rival group clutches the wounded one's shoulder, steadying him. No growls, no threat displays, just survival pressed against skin and soil. Above the fig tree, shudders, then splits. A branch crashes down, distant but final. When the storm passes, silence returns in stages first. The breath, then the blinking, then the crawling out from the trench. The world is reshaped. The savanna gleams in wet gold. Mud-caked figures rise on knuckles and feet, both bands mingled now, indistinguishable in grime. The matriarch chuckles a sharp exhale through her nose. A juvenile mimics it. The rival leader nods once, a gesture that says more than any word never spoken. And together, without conflict, without language, they move toward the hills where figs grow and life goes on.